The prison break begins. The woman noticed that the water in the prison seemed abnormal. As soon as the guard walked away, she immediately looked up and shook her head. In an instant, her right eye turned into a microscope. Upon observation, heard that the prison guards had indeed put an unknown drug into the water. This drug was surely intended by the guards to kill her in prison. She wanted to escape, but this top-security prison for hardened criminals had almost no escape routes. There was no other way. Susan had no choice but to use her superpower. She just blew a whistle, and through the ventilation duct in the ceiling, condensed the nearby metallic liquid in small steel balls. Tens of thousands of steel balls, as if alive, obeyed Susan's summons. They quickly traveled through the ventilation ducts to the prison corridor, avoiding all patrol guards, and headed to Susan's room. Soon, all the steel balls were ready, neatly arranged on the wall. Seeing that the time was right, Susan immediately controlled the steel balls to explode. In less than a second, all the steel balls exploded simultaneously, turning the 5-meter-thick iron wall into powder. However, as soon as Susan ran out of the room, she encountered several patrol guards. But due to her excellent combat skills, no matter how many guards there were, they were easily taken down. She thought she could make a smooth escape, but unexpectedly, the outer perimeter of the prison was full of hidden challenges. To avoid the attack of dart traps from the trees, Susan had to move low and swiftly along the ground. But just as she dodged the darts, the grassy rooftop ahead revealed a new danger. The soft grass transformed into sharp-looking spikes, forming a threatening barrier. Fortunately, Susan noticed it just in time and used a special martial arts stance called the Ma Mao Lao technique to keep herself balanced. But after a moment, she lost her footing. Just when she was about to fall into the trap, her ally appeared right on time and pulled her to safety. A post-apocalyptic world and a secret organization. 400 years later, a plague swept across the globe, killing 99% of humanity. Only the remaining 5 million humans survived and were kept in a sealed, transparent glass dome. Named Tianlong, would provide daily supplies to humans via a spaceship. But as time went by, people suddenly realized that this glass dome was a natural prison, and recently, several young girls had gone missing one after another, raising people's vigilance. They formed a resistance organization called the Magic Cult. Susan, a member of the organization, was sent as a secret agent to investigate the Tianlong family's secrets. Using the map in her hand, Susan quickly infiltrated the Tianlong family's secret laboratory. She saw a strange octopus on the shelf. She just accidentally grabbed it, which caused the octopus program to start. Soon, the octopus wrapped around Susan like a belt. Curious, Susan pressed a button, but unexpectedly, she was suddenly teleported to another laboratory. But before Susan could investigate properly, a guard with a Gatling gun started shooting at Susan. Fortunately, Susan possessed the superpower of invisibility and easily dodged the guard's pursuit. The truth unveiled. Later, Susan came to a nursery. Just as she was in nurseries, Gu Day of the Tianlong family suddenly discovered Susan, who had broken in. It was assumed that as enemies, a big battle would ensue. But Susan had an indescribable feeling when at Gu Day. According to Gu Day's description, a real truth emerged. It turned out that the plague 400 years ago caused humans to lose their fertility. To prevent humanity from becoming extinct, the Tianlong disclosed this to the public. So every day they would capture a group of young girls and implant embryos saved from 400 years ago into their bodies. And for these 400 years, no one had suspected that the children they gave birth to were not their own. Goody told Susan all this and hoped that Susan would also keep this secret for him. But Susan found it strange. Why would Goody tell her all this? Scientist Goody told Susan that he had injected the genes of his deceased wife into a young girl, and Susan herself was a clone created from his wife's genes. No wonder Susan had an inexplicable sense of familiarity when she first saw Gu Day. Susan couldn't believe that she was a clone, yet her body couldn't resist Gu Day. Final confrontation and a new era. However, this was not the best time for the two to communicate, because Gu Day's younger brother discovered the affectionate scene between Gu Day and Susan through surveillance. They thought Gu Day had betrayed them, so Gu Day's younger brother was dispatched to kill both Gu Day and Susan. After finding Gu Day, the younger brother revealed another truth. Although the plague 400 years ago caused humans to lose their fertility, just recently, humans had mutated again and regained their fertility. And the Tianlong family, in order to continue controlling the whole world, had to completely conceal this fact. As he spoke, Susan suddenly noticed that her companion a sniper rifle at her head not far away. Her companion thought Susan had betrayed them and sided with the Tianlong family, and was preparing to kill Susan, Gu Day, and the others simultaneously. To avoid understanding, Susan telepathy to tell her companion the truth, and also revealed the Tianlong family's plan. Upon learning the truth, her companion immediately shot Gu Day's brother. A battle was on the verge of breaking out. Taking advantage of the chaos, Susan quietly climbed the Iron Tower. She was going to destroy the Tianlong family's spaceship, cutting off the connection between the Tianlong family and the human survivors. With a sound of an explosion, the spaceship completely lost control and directly destroyed the dozens of meters of surrounding wall. Only now did the confined human survivors discover that the outside world no longer had the plague. It was full of life and vitality. Millions of human survivors then began another era on Earth. The movie ends.